the Chapter 5 review today. It's going to be a 2-day assignment. It's 1 through 42 on page 231.
Oh, this one is formatted great. I gotta say, it's just absolutely fantastic when all the odds are on the left and the evens are on the right. Like, it just makes everything so much easier. Hello, welcome to my section.
Alright. Numero uno. What should we do on number 1?
Distribute.
Okay, Matthew, what would it be?
20x cubed plus 15x squared minus 45x.
Yep. Can we do anything else?
I don't think so.
Nope. So, yeah, 20x cubed plus 15x squared minus 45x. Okay, number 3, Drew, what should we do on that one?
You multiply it by itself, or yeah, so you do 3a negative 5 is what, negative 15a, plus 6a squared, or 9a squared, and then minus minus 15a, and then minus 9a squared again.
Drew, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, that was,
I don't know, I got lost.
Okay, it's a FOIL problem, right?
Yeah,
FOIL problem. So what would the first be?
9a squared,
What would the outside be?
minus 15,
What's the inside?
minus 15a,
What's the last?
minus 9a squared. Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
Oh, okay, that's what I did.
Plus
Okay,
25.
yeah, plus 25.
okay.
where did you get minus 9 squared from?
9a squared. I tried to do it in my head, I didn't see it.
Okay,
Oh,
what else can we do?
Simplify it.
What's the middle term gonna be?
minus 30.
Minus 30. Why isn't it not minus 30a squared?
Because it's the same thing.
Because we're adding, not multiplying. A times a is a squared. But when you're adding, it's minus 15 is minus 30 of the same thing. Alright. Number 4 is bigger than the FOIL problems. Basically, you multiply every term times x. You guys remember doing that?
Yeah.
And every term times 2, and then you add the like terms together.
Are we gonna do that together?
Nope. Back when we did those on that assignment, I stacked the like terms when I was doing it, but you don't have to do that. Okay. Brady, you remember how we did 5?
B plus 3b minus 3.
Right. Square minus the square, you take roots. Whoops. B and 3, so it's b minus 3, b plus 3. The order doesn't really matter. Interesting. Alright. Number 7.
We don't have to put the answers as negative 3 and plus 3.
No. Why are we not putting the b equals 3 and negative 3?
Because that's solving it.
Because it's not an equation, b could be anything. If it was equal to 0, then we know what b has to be.
Okay.
But if it's not an equation, we can't solve it. So later on we'll be solving it. But, okay, 7c squared plus 44c plus 12. Alright, Jackson, what should I do on this one?
Okay, let me finish writing it down.
No.
Okay. Okay. So So it's either 7 and 1 because no two things multiplied are 7. So 7C and then 1C, and then we gotta figure out what multiplies to 12 that adds up to 44.
Well, what multiplies to 12, that foils
Oh yeah.
to 44.
Okay. So there's 2 and 6, and then there's 1 and 12, and then there's 4 and 3, I think. So those are the things we could use. I'm slow today, I'm sorry.
Okay, we need something to multiply to 7 to get us close to that, right? What
6
time?
and 2.
6 times 7 is 42.
And then plus
And then
2.
2 will give us another 2. So if I put a plus 6 here, that's 42.
Yes.
Plus 2 there, that'd be plus 44. Oh, 9 and 10 we didn't do.
I
So
required the Christmas music.
Yeah.
Grinch.
I upgraded on the Christmas music.
I can't even hear what the Christmas music is.
9 and 10 we're skipping. We didn't do those.
Okay.
Number 11. Negative square root of negative 63.
I can't remember.
Aiden, what do you think? Huh?
Oh, wait, sorry.
What were you gonna say?
And then negative I squared, like,
Yeah, the negative comes out as an I, yes. But how does square root of 63 simplify?
To 3 square root of 7.
Yeah, 63 is 9 times 7. If you are not good at that, like the 3 squared of 7 thing, I do have a Casio you can borrow, or somebody else can lend you one. That can do that part. You cannot plug the negative in the Casio.
This is math.
You just have to plug in positive 63 and then put the I on it yourself. So anyway, it's negative 3I squared of 7.
Epic. Number 13.
Burger.
Yeah, I thought that was number 11.
You're right.
Number 15. 32. Lastly, one under Burger King.
All right, Rachel, how about 13? Did you?
No, she didn't.
You
She's
said
lying.
something.
I think that should count.
All right, Aiden, number 13.
And wouldn't it just be 4 plus 8i?
Yeah. Okay, so he just added the like terms. Yeah, he added 3 plus 1 and 9i plus negative I. So that'd be 4 plus 8i.
Epic.
Remember, I can be treated just like a variable, so you can only add like terms. Except for when you get I squared when you're multiplying. Then something weird happens.
Oh yeah, are you gonna like give us like I cubed is whatever, or we have to remember that for the test?
Yeah, I probably have to remember that one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's likely going to be a question like that. I'll remind you of it. Are there any of those on this page? I don't see
Yeah,
any.
and then or with I squared 15.
No, like the I to the 23rd power or something like that.
Oh.
Okay, 7i times 3 plus I.
7 times 3 plus 21.
Alright,
21.
Issa, what do you think?
21 I plus 7 I squared.
Yeah, I times I. I squared. Now what, Issa?
You can take out I.
Well, you can, but that's not what we're going to do. Do you remember what I squared is equal to?
1.
Negative 1. I squared is negative 1. So this is 7 times negative 1, which is negative 7. So, and remember we always put the real number in front. So it's negative 7 plus 21i. Imaginary number goes back. Together they make a complex number.
Wait, 21 I?
2, oh yeah, 21. It's supposed to be 21i. Okay, this is the one Brady was talking about. X squared minus 4x minus 32 equals 0. Now we can solve for x. How can we solve for x? Well, factoring or quadratic formula, but the directions say factoring, so we'll go that route. What can go into negative 32? You guys remember your times tables?
6 and 6.
Nope, that's 36.
No, 8 and 4.
8 and 4, right? How do I get negative 4 out of 8 and 4?
You do x
Negative.
minus 8x plus 4.
Minus 8 plus 4. Am I done?
No.
No. I'm solving for x. What does x equal?
8 and negative 4.
Right, 8 and negative 4.
Someone said you're like playing Modern Warfare.
X. Okay, what do I need to do first on number 19?
58
Minus
Minus 8 over, so we have equals 0. 6x squared plus
What?
22x minus 8 equals 0. What should I, I'm thinking bringing up this next question on. What should I do now?
Divide everything by blue.
Take a 2 out. So I could factor 2 out like this, but since it's an equation, really I can just divide both sides by 2 and just make the 2 go away completely. If it was not an equation, I would have to keep the 2, but since it's an equation, if I just divide both sides by 2, I still get a true equation. So I get 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. Okay, by the way, if I didn't take the 2 out, I still would have got the right answer. It would just been harder to find. Now it's
What
gonna
if I just like a challenge?
it makes sense because you are challenged.
That's a good one.
More like he is challenged.
What?
Mentally.
That was
That's
not
what
good.
he's.
No, he called you a challenge.
No.
I didn't say you were challenged. That'd been way across the line.
No. You said you were a challenge and you tried to make a weird comparison and it didn't really work.
I probably shouldn't be recording me insulting my student. Okay.
Use the
What goes in?
lawsuit.
What goes into 3x squared?
1 and 3.
3, yeah.
3x and x. What goes into negative 4?
4 and 1.
4 and 1. So if I put, well, 4 and negative 1, right? If I put my 4 here, that will give me 12, right? Then a minus 1 here, 12 minus 1 will give me 11. So that gives me 12 minus 1. Okay. What,
Plus
What?
1, negative 4.
No, it's 1
No.
over 3 and then negative 4.
yeah,
Wait, what?
this would be positive 1/3
Wait, why?
because the number in front,
That's dumb.
this is negative. If there's a number in front, it's always going to be a fraction.
Okay.
If you don't remember what it's going to be, you gotta set it equal to 0 and solve for x.
Wait, I'm confused now.
On what?
Well, so I get to. You're supposed to get to 22, right? That's the point.
Well, originally, if we would have factored this, we
Oh,
would've-
I didn't divide by 2. Okay.
Okay, on this one it says taking the roots. So if you have a simple x squared equation, you can just get x squared by itself. We could not do that on the last two problems because there was x squared and an x. But this one just has an x squared, so if we can just get x squared by itself.
You divide by 2.
You can divide by 2. Let's do the normal order where we subtract 80 first and then divide by 2. Although it wouldn't really matter too much on this one. Been a little while since we did this lesson. You guys remember what comes next?
Oh, yeah, you square root both sides, right?
Square root of both sides, but what else happens?
You have to simplify the
It's a-
40.
Well, you do, but it's always plus or minus when you use
Oh,
this
that's
trick.
right, that's right.
For example, if you had x squared equals 9, the answer would be plus or minus 3. We do the square root trick. Anyways, plus or minus square root of 40. The negative in the 40 comes out as an I.
It's 2 square root of 10. We don't reduce it.
Okay, it's, 4 and 10, 2 and 2, 2 and 5. So it's 2 square root of 10.
Where do we get the plus or minus?
Anytime you do the square root on both sides trick, could be positive or negative. Because the negative squared is going to equal the same thing as the positive squared. It's a trick you have to remember, or else I have to take a couple points off.
So is it 2i squared root of 10?
Plus or minus 2i squared root of 10.
It just needs the board probably,
I think it's the monitor does that sometimes. And then it's just capturing it on the smart board. Completing the square. Okay, we didn't really do completing the square, but it's basically it's quadratic formula. So we will do that with quadratic formula. So number 23. What is my A, B, and C?
1, 12, 22, 32.
1, 12, and 32. You guys have that memorized yet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and talked about this yesterday, didn't we? X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root. B squared minus 4ac over 2a. Lovely.
That rhyme doesn't work at all. with
No,
what
that's
we're
what I was
saying.
It's not a rhyme. It's
Either way, the tune, it doesn't
it's a little
work.
ditty. Yeah, it did. Good. Did.
No.
X is equals, that's how you have to start. X is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Look, there's an extra little note in there that kind of gets, anyway, not perfect, but it works. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2. Now I'm going to have that stuck in my head. Alright. Let's see, what's 4 minus times 32? 132, is that 12 under the square root? Did I do that right? I think so.
That's what I got. No, I got 16.
With your head or with your calculator?
Calculator.
I lost my place. Oh yeah, it should have been 16. Oh yeah. Alright, what's the square root of 16?
4.
So, if it comes out as a normal number, you have to go ahead and solve it since it simplifies. So, what's negative 12 plus 4? divided by 2 is negative 4. What's negative 12 minus 4? Negative 16 divided by 2.
Negative 8.
We're probably gonna have no time to work on it today.
Yeah, probably.
Good thing it's
This is supposed to be a 2 day.
Yeah, that's what tomorrow's for.
Lost my place. 23. Nope, 25. Okay. What's my A, B, and C on 25?
A is 2y squared. Or 602.
B is negative 3.
Okay, yeah, if you subtract the 3y over, you get negative 3y. So it's A is 2, B is negative 3, C is 8. So what's negative B? 3 plus minus the square root. Okay, if you do b squared in your calculator, it would either look like this, or you could just, since you know it's going to be positive anyway, you could just call it 3 squared. Anyway, this would be 9 minus 4ac over 2a. 4 times 2 is 8, times 8 is 64, 9 minus 64 is negative 55, I think. Did I do that one right? Yeah. Does 55 simplify? Square root of 55?
Yes.
No.
It's 5 times 10, right? Or 11, I mean. And those are primes, so there's no doubles, so it doesn't simplify.
But the I.
Well,
No, it doesn't. No.
okay, yeah, the negative comes out as an I. So I'm gonna go ahead and split these into 2, like the book likes us to. So I'm gonna call that 3/4 plus or minus I squared of 55 over 4.
Would you get it wrong if you just put 3 plus or minus I squared and 54? You need 55 over 4.
Nah, I won't worry about it. Okay, now it's just telling us to do quadratic formula. Alright, who wants to walk through on this one?
I'll do it.
Alright,
Me or Brady? If Brady races it.
alright, Brady.
Yeah. Alright. So you're gonna do 2.
What's my A, B, and C on 27?
Oh. A is 3. B is 2.
B is
Oh, wait. B is negative 1
no,
or 2.
negative 2.
Negative
And C is
2. Negative 1.
alright, go ahead.
And then, so you have 2 plus or minus 4 minus 4 times 3 times negative 1 over negative 4.
No.
Wait, oh, 8, 2, 8, 6.
Alright. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 negatives make it positive. 4 plus 12 is 16. Okay, another 16. What's 2 plus 4 divided by 6?
1.
What's 2 minus 4 divided by 6?
2 minus
2 minus 4?
divide.
Negative 1 3.
Yeah.
Negative 2, 6, which reduces to negative 1 there. We got interesting, 29 is gonna be messy. The reason we skipped completing the square is because the quadratic formula is completing the square simplified, so it's not terribly useful. Alright, so we got 6, 2, and 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Jackson, why don't you try this one?
Okay, so A is 6, B is 2, and 1 is C. And so you do -2 plus or minus, and then square root, and 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 6 times 1. Put that in real quick. Which is -1.
Okay.
And so it's, over 12. -2 plus or minus square root of -20 and 12.
What does square root of 20 simplify to?
2 over 5, so we have -2 plus or minus 2i squared root of 5 over 12.
Alright, what else on this one?
You can divide by 2.
Yeah.
So we get,
So it's gonna be 1, 1, and 6, right? I'm gonna go ahead and split these again. So this will be -1 and 6 plus or minus 1i. You don't really have to write the 1 in that case, so I'm just gonna call it I squared 5 over 6.
Do we have to write it like that?
No, I guess not. I probably should have started you off that way. Alright. 31. Determine the number and nature of solutions to each equation. Then find the solution. Alright, we'll do both parts, I guess. How do we determine the number and nature of the roots?
we put it through like a weird half of the quadratic formula.
Anybody ever remember what that little...
Oh, it's just the top part, isn't it?
No,
Well,
it's just the
not-
square
it's just-
root.
It's
Yeah, it's called the discriminant.
Yeah.
And if it comes out positive, you're going to get a normal answer. If it comes out negative, you're going to get imaginary answer, all that stuff. So A, B, and C is 2, -5, -1. So B squared would be -5 squared is 25 minus 4A, that's a -1. C, 25 plus 8 looks like 33. Okay, if I took the square root of 33, what kind of answers am I going to get?
It's a prime.
Well, yeah, it's not going to simplify, right?
Yeah.
So when I went through this, I said you're going to get 2 real answers because they're not, at least it's not negative, they're not imaginary. The way the book wrote it though was 2 irrational answers, which irrational numbers, I don't know if you guys remember, are like pi is irrational. It's just weird numbers that have never-ending decimals. Square root of 33 is irrational because it doesn't simplify. So anyway, this is going to have 2 irrational answers. We'll go with that. And we're also supposed to solve it. So if it has 2 irrational answers, it's not going to factor because square root is going to be part of your answer. We've kind of done the hard part already. We already did this part. So we just need the -b over 2a thing. So -b would be +5 plus or minus square root of 33 over 2a, which is 4. Does square root of 33 simplify?
No. No.
No, 3 times 11, no, can't do anything with that. So. There's the 2 rational answers. 33, what's my A, B, and C?
3, negative 11, negative
-22?
22, negative 42.
-42. Okay, so what would B squared be on this one? 11 times 11 minus 4AC. Probably need a calculator for that.
625.
At 625 have a square root.
Yes.
Is it a perfect square? Yes. So what kind of answers are we going to get when we get
2 rational.
2 rationals, right? We're going to get kind of normal answers, basically. They're either going to be like integers or fractions. Fractions are another way of saying rational numbers. So the answers are going to be 2 rational answers. Which means it is factorable. But since we already did most of the quadratic formula, we might as well go ahead and finish that. So it's negative b is 11, plus or minus the square root of 625, which is 25. We already did that part. Over 2a. 11 plus 25 is 36, divided by 6.
6.
11 minus 25 is negative 14, divided by 6.
Negative 7/3.
Negative 7/3. I think their idea in doing that was figure out whether you can factor or not, and it doesn't really matter to me that much. I'll probably put a couple of those discriminant problems on the test. Number 35, solve by using the method of your choice. Oh, that's so nice of them. 4x squared equals 12x. All right, what do you want to do?
12x on the left side.
Move the 12x to the left, so subtract it over. 4x squared minus 12x equals 0. Now what can we do?
Divide by 2. Yeah, divide by 4.
We could divide by 4 on both sides. What would that give us?
X squared.
0 divided by 4 is still 0. Now what?
We take an x out.
Take an x out. Okay. What's left if I take an x out?
X minus 3 equals 0.
Plus 3.
So what could x be to make this work?
Plus 3 or 0.
3 or 0. Yeah, if there's an x on the outside of the parentheses, 0 is one of your answers. Are we going to make it? I think so. It's 37, 39, and 41. Maybe. 37. Okay, what should we do first on 37?
Take everything to the left.
Subtract 2x and subtract 1, so it's on the left. So we got 3x squared minus 2x. Put it in order. Then we got 7 minus 1 is 6. I'm guessing that's going to factor.
Yeah, it looks like it is. I think we use 1 and 6. No. Yes. No. Maybe 2.
I'm thinking it doesn't factor.
Yeah, it's not it.
Alright, so if it doesn't factor, what are we going to do?
Quadratic formula.
Quadratic formula. Negative b is positive 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Let's see, 4 times 3 is 12 times 6 is 72. 4 minus 72 is negative 68. Does 68 simplify?
Take an eye out.
No.
217.
Yeah, okay. 4 times 17 basically, so it's 2 times 2 squared 17. So it's, we gotta split it again. 2, 6 plus or minus 2I squared is 17 over 6. Is there anything else
Divide by 2.
I can divide it, reduce the 2 and the 6 on both those. So that'd be 1/3, right?
Yeah.
Plus or minus 1I squared is 17 over 3.
We should just finish the
We
other
got
two.
3. I'm not sure if we're gonna make it to 41.
We may have to
I'd
do
rather just get this done though. Okay, 39. Okay, this is what we did yesterday. Solve and graph. The graph would be like a number line. So we're gonna solve by factoring x squared minus 6x minus 27.
9 and 3, it's x
Yeah.
minus 9 plus 3.
It factors.
Yeah.
Okay, 9 and 3 go into 27. They add up to negative 6 if you do negative 9 plus 3. So what are my two numbers that I'm working with?
9 and
9
negative
and
3.
Okay, yeah, this is the part I'm concerned about. That we will remember how this works. If it is greater than, how did we set that up yesterday?
We set it going opposite from each other. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
9 going right and
it's
negative 3.
outside the numbers.
Yeah.
If it's a greater than, so it's got to be smaller than the small one, bigger than the big one. So it's smaller than the small one, or bigger than the big one. And then on our graph, those are far enough apart. Well, let's cheat a little bit here. So that's negative 3, 0, and 9. So less than 3, greater than 9. Negative 3. Got about a minute and a half. All right, 41, 2x squared minus 5x minus 1 is less than or equal to 0.
That doesn't look like it's accurate.
Yeah, it doesn't factor, darn it. So it's one of those weird ones. All right, quadratic formula, negative b is positive 5 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 8 is 33. Hey, we had that one earlier. Okay, so what that means is 5 minus square root of 33 over 4 is the small one, and 5 plus square root of 33 over 4 is the big one. If it is a less than problem, how do we set it up?
Going towards the x.
X is in between. So X is going to be bigger than the small one, like that, and smaller than the big one, like that. How do we graph that? Well, plug in your calculator and see what they are as decimals. I'm going to use my book to help me out instead of calculator. 41. They hid it from me. Hold on. Okay, they hit it really well. So, never mind. Go ahead and finish that though. Figure out what those are as decimals. And then on your graph, it should be a line between those two closed in circles, right? All right. We'll call that good. 30 seconds ahead of time.
That was a lot.